Thank you very much. I was a little dismayed to have a USC alum announce me, but you did all right. And I want to say three things before I begin. One is I think most of those structures are unpermitted. We'll be talking. Two, I am honored to be on this stage-ish, or in the room with these other honorees. Betsy, I just had the pleasure of meeting with you. I will be sending you my resume. Karen Bass, who appointed me in 2008 to something that I am profoundly proud of, in serving on the California Tribal Welfare Council for almost a decade on behalf of California's foster youth. And I have no words for Karen's leadership for our community. And Chris Essel, if you know leadership, you know Chris Essel in Los Angeles. So as the sole man being honored today, I could not be happier. So thank you so much, Southern California Leadership Network. The third thing I wanted to say before I begin is, thank you. I was a scholarship recipient back in the day. So it struck me that many of you contributed to that. So I want to say thank you because it allowed me to go through the program. And with that, I was asked to talk about leadership. And this is a very tumultuous time. So here's what I thought about leadership on a flight from DC last night, much to Nancy's chagrin. Leadership is not the new black. It seems to me in America today that we do not actually value leadership other than in theory. It's often hard, often lonely, and for me, oftentimes confounding. Forces push, they insist, they cajole, and badger you towards a certain action. Rarely is that the right action. Leadership, to me, is a conversation. It is compromise. Leadership has never been more important. Bad things happen when good people choose not to lead. I woke up the day after the election, as many of you did, and thought, what just happened? Many people did. Not just because I was an intern for at the time, Senator Clinton, but I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I was hard-pressed to recognize this country that elected a man that would say those things and propose to build a wall, and I just didn't understand. I wondered since then, what can I do aside from stick my head in the sand? What we can do is lead, but what does that mean? Empathy is leadership. Each day, right or wrong, the same folks that voted for him felt what we felt the day of November 8th. We do not have to agree with them, but we have to empathize. Empathy in action is something Los Angeles does. We voted to tax ourselves to build homeless housing with HHH. Empathy is leadership. Experience is leadership. The national conversation in this election painted experience as something shameful and to hide away. Career politicians. In council chambers, legislative bodies, we must all collectively recognize and honor those who choose to serve. More locally, we can see what experienced leadership looks like with our fourth-term governor and our mayor, who, having served in city council, came back with a back-to-basics agenda. Back to basics lacks sex and glamour, but who does not love having smoother roads and dare to dream a rail line to LAX? Leadership is at home. Do you sort your recycling? Do you turn off the water when you brush your teeth? More importantly, how many of you knew the difference between the judges on the ballot we just voted upon? How many of us voted based on party, name, how do they spell it, or gender? Talking heads will debate the reasons for this election and global matters, but how can we create a conversation in Los Angeles where all our citizens are equally well-versed on the LAUSD as they are about Benghazi? Southern California Leadership Network provided me, a scholarship recipient from them, a boot camp to break out about my preconceived assumptions and my bubble in Los Angeles, to understand the interconnected wovenness of our community. I'm still reeling from the visit to the Balboa sewage treatment plant. Do you guys remember that? I smelled it for days. Leadership is not sexy. I spent a decade working on neighborhood councils, and it was hard and it was gritty. Working on issues of child welfare reform, my other passion, I often scream inside with the urgency of the matters we are dealing with while we have a meeting, to have a meeting, to plan for a meeting, to discuss a strategy to tackle the conversation at the meeting. Leadership is hard. Leadership is listening. I've learned a lot about that these last couple of years. In this messy democratic country of ours, we have got to listen to each other. No one, no party, no individual has the market cornered on the right answer to complicated problems. I can attest to this. Leadership is not a popularity contest. Often the right answer is unpopular, and that's exactly how it should be. Leadership is remembering. It's remembering and harnessing the best parts from the dustbin of forgetfulness. You're gonna have to bear with me here. Recently, I sat up on the, I haven't even started here. Recently, I sat up on the dais at the City Council Horseshoe, presiding over the CPC meeting, City Planning Commission. Hundreds of people were present, and many more were listening, as we 9 citizen volunteers wrestled with a complicated, controversial project. This item pertains to the provision of supportive, permanent, affordable housing for the homeless, in particular homeless families. Speaker after speaker after speaker had harsh words based on fear and NIMBYism. Comments about the mothers that were homeless with children, amongst the other homeless, caused a mental hiccup in myself. Like a bird flying into a plate glass window, I was jolted by the fear and hate present in the room. It felt like a Trump rally. I remember the nearly 11 years I spent homeless with my mother, my mentally ill mother, and my siblings. Years of hunger, fear, abuse, and hunger. I listed that twice on purpose. I remember bathing in the Wendy's bathroom as people looked on me with disgust. I remember dumpster diving behind grocery stores and restaurants, desperate to feed my family. I remember sleeping at Grand Central Station and the Port Authority. For years, I remembered leaving foster care and becoming homeless again at 16. But what I remember is leadership is not what happened to you. It is remembering and doing something. Personally, I'm able to do this work that I'm noted for today because of a few folks and institutions that should be mentioned. My cherished husband, Dan, is here. If you watch House of Cards, you'll know what I say when I say that he is my Claire. Poised, calm, confident, and silently vicious. I also want to acknowledge that my boss, Kevin, is here. Thank you for signing the checks. And the Walt Disney Company. In all seriousness, the work of the CPC is complicated and time-consuming. And the Walt Disney Company not only invests in SCLN, but more specifically in my ability to serve. And I am so grateful to the company for doing that. I also want to acknowledge and thank my colleagues who are here today. I also want to acknowledge the mayor who selected a formerly homeless Presbyterian, Jewish, baptized Catholic New Yorker turned Angelino, former attorney who thinks Los Angeles is the best city on earth, to serve in this role. I am honored. This privilege is something the city gave me, this mayor gave me, the council gave me, our country gave me, to serve and give back. Each day I get to be part of a democratic process to make this a more livable and beautiful community. I am grateful to all that I learned from SCLN. It has armed me to give back all that more effectively. Thank you all so much.